Hello everyone, and welcome to our Consul Hangout for the month of June. My name is Rhys O'Sullivan. I work in community management with InterNations. And on behalf of all of us here at InterNations in sunny Munich and our Consul community right around the world, I want to say a huge welcome to you and thank you for making the choice to join InterNations, the world's #1 expatriate community. Today what we're doing is we are hanging out. Thank you for joining us. We wanted to arrange a bit of an opportunity for you as new consuls to have your questions answered and to get a little bit more of an idea of some of the things you can do to make sure your first activity with InterNations is a real success. InterNations is a lot different to other platforms, and you'll see we're a lot more high-touched and we're a lot more interested in helping you and making sure that your activities are a success. To help me through this today, I have some really special guests with me. Now, some of these guests, or one in particular, is a consul just like you, and she's joining us from Paris. Christine, thank you for joining us. Can I ask you to introduce yourself?
Hello. Bonjour. And they say in French. I'm very, very happy to be here. Really pleased to be with you today. Well, I've been a consul since 2012, and I've been a member since 2012, and I became a consul in April 2014, consul of the Singles Group. And then in January 2015, I became the ambassador of a newcomers group in Paris. I created also another group, which is called Joie de Vivre, Joy of Life, because it's more to my my expectations of the group. And so far I've created so many events that I really enjoy doing it, and I want to share all my experiences with you, all my experience and my experience with you.
Great.
Okay, so I will try to answer your questions if you have any, and if not, then we'll see. We'll talk about it.
Thanks, Christine. Thanks for joining us. And worth saying for those watching, Christine's group's one of the most active and has had one of the highest growth rates of any group that we've seen so far. So it's great to have you along. Next up, Christoph.
Hi. Hello from sunny Madrid. I'm Christoph. I'm the locally based community manager for Madrid. And I'm based here in Madrid, and I'm supervising the activity groups here in Madrid.
Great. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Christoph. And finally, from just down the hallway, 4 of our best groups managers who work with you to help you with your activities. Susan, Morgan, and Evelyn, welcome.
Thanks. Thank you. Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Evelyn. I am, as we all 3 are, part of the Activity Groups Team. So we're here to support our consuls all over the world. We're always here to reach us via emails, and we're always eager to answer your questions and to support you wherever we can. I myself am taking care of the groups in the Middle East and Central Asia.
Hi everyone, I'm Morgan, and I'm looking after our communities in the US and China. And now this is my 3rd Hangout, so I'm again very happy to be here and excited to hear what our new consuls are going to ask today.
And finally, I'm Susan. I look over Southern Europe, including Luxembourg, and this is my 1st Hangout. So I'm really excited to see how to help everyone and provide support to the questions that you have for us.
Great. Hey, thanks guys, and you can reach our activity groups, as you know, the team on activity-groups at internations.org. A few of the groups team have already ducked away to the Izar for a barbecue in the sun, but here's 3 dedicated team members who've hung around to help us out tonight. So thanks guys. For those watching live, I can see we've already got some great questions over here in our Q&A app, which is fantastic. What I'd really encourage you to do is to get on and pop your question in there, because that's going to help inform and guide our conversation today. We've also had a couple of questions submitted to us via email, so thank you very much for those questions to those consuls also. Finally, this is something that's being broadcast and recorded via YouTube. So for those who aren't able to make it, you can watch via YouTube. To those watching via YouTube, to get an understanding of the questions that were asked and answered, down the bottom of your screen, you'll see something that says join the conversation on Google Hangouts. So just click on that and you'll get to see some of the great questions that have been asked. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. For a couple of days now, we've had a really good question in there from David Meredith. And David, if you're watching, thank you very much for that. David looks after the arts and culture group in Doha. And he's running an activity called Orchestral Maneuvers, which looks like a really fun activity. He's got a lot of participants joining him. And the question there that he's asked is, what is the best way to organise an event that requires the advance purchase of expensive tickets for the group, not knowing if or when people will attend and pay? This is a challenge that David's facing for his orchestra event, but also more broadly across activity groups. So I just want to, to you, activity groups team, what kind of tips would you have someone in David's situation?
I've actually had a group, had a look at David's group before, and it seems like he's doing a pretty good job already. So I noticed he's been posting very early, he's been posting in advance in order to be able to react to any unforeseen circumstances. He's making really good use of the wall in order to be able to be in contact with people, encourage them to prepay and just be in touch with him. And he's also trying his best to avoid any financial risk for himself. So generalizing this is actually a question that's relevant for many consuls, everyone who's organizing a ticketed activity. So that would be relevant for anyone visiting a concert or visiting a movie, just watching a theater play. And with that, in general, what we've found out from our experience was what's most important is to try at all times to avoid any financial risk for yourself as a consul, because you never know how many people will actually turn up. So whenever you can, get in touch with the venue and try to make a reservation instead of a prepayment, and then get members to pick up their tickets by themselves and pay by themselves. If you cannot manage to do that, try to think about whether it's actually important that you sit together. If you're going to watch a movie, it might not even be that important to sit together. Then you can just encourage people to go ahead and buy their ticket themselves, and then just meet up for like dinner beforehand, go out for drinks afterwards, and then you can just have a chat afterwards and spend some time together. Even when you find out that you do have to get tickets in advance, that you can't reserve any without paying, then what we found out works best is still to try and reduce the risk for yourself. So that means only buy tickets when you are sure that you can cancel them afterwards, that you can give them back, or just set a deadline for your members until when they can prepay you, and only after you've collected all the funds, then you can go ahead and buy tickets for everyone. In that context, it might be important to mention that you always have to think about people not showing up. So don't have a look at your guest list and take the members who signed up for granted, but ask them to send you a confirmation beforehand, ask them to get in touch with you via PM, or give you a call or something. Just include another step for them to confirm that they're actually coming. What also works very well is keeping the group guest list to limited size. So whenever you have less people attending, maybe just 10 of them, then the group is way more manageable and you will have less of a problem to prepay or invest huge funds. I think that would be pretty much our top tips on that topic. Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks for the question, David.
Good one. Thanks, Evelyn. Hey, Christine, I want to just quickly get your input, because I know that you do ticketed activities and things like this in your singles group. How do you kind of handle this?
What I did was I call each one each one of them, each of the attendees, and ask them how they want to pay. Well, confirm with them if they're coming, and ask them how are they going to pay. Some of them by pay cash or pay by check or pay by direct bank transfer. So I will say, okay, if they want to pay by cash, I said, okay, I'm going to the next event next week. Are you coming? Then I will be there at a certain time, and bring your money, and I'll just give it to me. That's the easiest way. Or by check, then I will just give them my address and whatever. Then I will do it for them. And by bank transfer, we'll do it likewise, the same. So that's the way I do it, and it works very well, in fact. So I guess because they know me so well, they know I would not run away with their money. So, okay. So, and they know that I will really organize it so well that it would not be any problem. So,
Great.
So that's the way I'll do it.
Okay. I also like, Christine, when I see your activities, you're very active on your group wall. So if the tickets are running out, I can see you're on there going, guys, don't forget, get in and buy your tickets. So, you do manage that really well. And so that's good you hear.
And I always put a bit of humor in it. I said, go and get it now, or don't tell me that I didn't warn you.
Fair enough. We've got a couple of comments there from John about from John Stevenson. John, thank you for those. PayPal and bank transfer absolutely do work really well if you're comfortable with that. Mm-hmm. One question that has come up, and it's probably a really good time for us to touch on this, is InterNations working on a mobile version or an app for its website? And John, this is a very well-timed question. Yesterday, we've just released a lot of our website is now mobile friendly. So I'd encourage you to get on your mobile and test it out. We have our IT team who are furiously working away on making sure all of our pages are mobile friendly, and then we are working on a native app. So everyone would have seen in the past couple of days, a lot of the InterNations pages have been relaunched with a fresh new look. So keep an eye in the coming months as we finish off this kind of relaunch of the web presence, and also the app, which is due to come. But in the meantime, it does look a whole lot more beautiful on your phone as of right now. Let's have a look. We've got a good question here that's been voted up by Joy. So let's touch on this one. And I'm going to throw this to you, Christoph, is how do you attract more members to your activity? So what are the kind of things you do to kind of bring more people in?
Well, finally, activities are a personal thing between the Consul and the attendees. So make your activity personal. Let the people know that you really love what you're doing. That it's not your business, that you share your hobby or your interest, and that you really like that. So people will see that you're passionate about your activity, and this is emotional, which is always more attractive for everybody. Make use of the wall, post pictures of the venue, of the issue, pictures that if it's an activity about like horse races, for example, then try to get some pictures from the racing horses or from track days. Give it content, give it a bit of support. And the other thing is when you see that people start signing up, or invite your personal contacts or people you think who might fit. I'm talking about contacts you really know, you've met before. So make it a personal message. Write a message and put hi Peter or hi Joy or whatever, make it really personal. This experience here from the
Good, all right. Thanks, Christoph. Hey, and Morgan, I just want to throw it to you because this touches really well on when you first start a group and you're starting to do activities, how do you get a group off the ground? So how do you start attracting more people to your activities? What are your tips for that? Yeah,
I think most importantly, as Christoph just said, posting on the wall, promoting pictures and sort of activities that will happen at the get-together allows your members to get very excited and look forward to the activity itself. This also attracts new members by posting your first activity because it's shown in various channels on the platform. And it's also featured in our calendar, and this will allow more members a chance to attend. I also encourage my consuls to post in their local forum a link to their activity itself, but be careful to not post specific information pertaining to the meeting point, because we allow this information to be featured on the designated activity page in the specific box. As Christoph already said, feel free to invite your external contacts, and you can do this on the right-hand side of your start page and just very easily put their emails in the designated field. We also allow our basic members to have 2 free trials to attend your exciting activities, so this is also a great way to help promote your group to more members. And lastly, I also encourage my consuls to really attend the local InterNations events themselves, because this is a great way to network your group itself and help share your interests on a face-to-face level with other members.
Great, thanks Morgan. And we've got a good follow-up question there from Joy, so let's keep going with that. You know, what if only 1 or 2 people do attend? You know, does she go ahead with it, or does she just cancel it?
Well, we really encourage our consuls to keep on trying. I mean, this is your first activity, and nobody expects it to be perfect. And of course, you have your InterNations Groups managers here for support during this Munich business hours, and we're really happy to hear from you and to help you along with our advice and how to just really help promote your group. But of course, we've had situations where consuls will organize an activity and only 1 or 2 attendees do show up. But we've also had many cases where our consuls only have 1 or 2 attendees, and then a few months down the road, they're having 10 to 15 members attend. So, I mean, we just really try to stress it's not going to be perfect the first time, and nobody really expects it to be.
Exactly. Just don't let yourself be discouraged by a couple of attendees. You can also have a good time when it's just 3 people, and all of those 3 people will tell their contacts, and next time you'll just have more. And it will just grow over time. Just be a little patient and don't let yourself be discouraged.
Christine, I want to throw to you. So I mean, we know that sometimes people cannot attend for whatever reason, unexpected things come up. You know, what kind of things do you do to kind of make sure that as many people who sign up come?
Okay. What I do is I usually post my activities at least 2 weeks in advance for the date, so that people to get the time to look at the calendar and to see if they were available on that day and block it. I think that is very important. Of course, the date, that one is something else, but I think this is the most important thing, at least in advance, 2 weeks in advance. At least they know in advance what they're going to do, what going to be. And also to see if the activity is interesting for them. Then, as I said, I will put a very nice picture to the activity, a very attractive one that will attract the men and the women. And then I also like to write a little bit about, you know, the venue, for example. I can't help it. I just like to do it. And I know that most people tell me they don't read it. They don't read, well, they just say they don't read it because they ask me questions. Where is it? What about? What, you know? But I love just to include a little bit, because Paris is full of historic buildings. They're very old, and, you know, and they got a lot of history behind it. So I just like to tell them a little bit about the story of the building and the venue, so that, you know, to also get their interest, because some people they like that sort of things. You know, they like old buildings. So I put that in, and then I find it great pleasure when they say, well, I actually enjoy reading your text. You know, the description of the venue. You know, I really okay, that works. But that's good. And I will attend official events, the huge events, and promote my my activity. I do that quite often, and because there are a lot of newcomers in these official events, there are a lot of newcomers, and they will come to me and they say, okay, what are the activities? So I say, well, come to mine. You know, then I say, this activity, come to this one. So that's how I do my promotion. I send invitations to members of other groups. Because, like, for example, the Joie de Vivre is very new. I created it in April, and there was only me as a member. And now, 2 months later, we have 313 members. So that's how one of the ways I do is to send invitations to all the other group members, the singles group, the out of office group, whatever, American Network, all the groups. I just put them on the wall so they know. So they have to join Joie de Vivre, so that will increase the membership as well. So they make people come. And then I send them reminders a week before the activity. So, and also to encourage them to join, because if they can't make up their mind yet what they want to do. Then I take pictures during the event. This is really very important for me because I want to show them, those people who didn't come, how that we had so much fun. You know, that they're missing out. That it was a bad decision not to come. You know, so encourage more people to come to my events. And then, well, lastly, I would send them contact requests. Because, I think that is very nice, very sweet, very personal. I find it's really very good way to keep in contact and to attract more people to come to events. Well, I think that helps. I think that helps the new consuls.
Great, Christine. Thank you. I can see we've got and I just want to reinforce that. I think from my side, I've seen people post an activity and maybe not too many people come, and that's the first thing where you go, oh, maybe maybe that's enough. But then they post a second one and a few more people come, and just momentum tends to build. And I've seen, some of the strongest groups I've seen on InterNations are the ones where the first couple, maybe weren't a raging success, but I mean, it's the demonstrating over and over that you're committed to your group, and I think that's something that really people do notice.
Yeah, which was one thing.
I have a good question here from John Valia, and let's touch on that. He's asked, on the subject of promoting events, can we upload video as well as pictures to promote an upcoming event? Christoph, is this something that John can do?
Well, you can't upload videos. What you can do, you can put a link for your 2 videos, for example. But I think the best thing is to upload pictures directly to the wall.
Good one. Thanks, Christoph. We do see some people doing this. They'll put a hyperlink into a video that they want. Maybe it's on YouTube or Vimeo or what have you. So that can work really well. But at the moment, it is photos only. That said, we are definitely taking all kinds of feedback. So thanks for your question, John. Next question we have is from another John, actually, John Stevenson. He's asked the question, I want to be able to remove people from a guest list if they've not paid by a certain date. Now, this is something that does come up for a lot of consuls and pertains to our questions from earlier. We currently don't have this built in as part of the website. In the past, we've seen sometimes maybe guest lists inappropriately pulled apart when they shouldn't be. But I want to ask the groups team, if a guest hasn't paid by a certain date, what kind of things can John do to make sure it doesn't impact his activity?
What we usually recommend in those cases, unfortunately, there is actually nothing that we've implemented on the website so far to just go ahead and delete someone from a guest list. That's for a number of reasons. The most important one being that we don't want that feature to be misused for means of discrimination of any sort. That's a very, very serious issue, so we haven't implemented that by now. But what you can definitely do, especially in cases where it's about prepayment, just make a list offline, ask members for a prepayment, for confirmation, and then you only manage your offline list and kind of just leave the online list open, but explain to people, explain on the wall, explain underneath the activity that people can only come when they've paid. You can also disclose the meeting point also to those people who have paid, so you ensure that you won't have anyone coming on the day who hasn't prepaid. That's our most common recommendation in those cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, great tips. And also I think, it can sometimes help if you know someone's not coming, and as Evelyn said, you've made all the comments underneath and on the wall. but you do need that extra space on your guest list, sometimes it can't help just to add an extra person on the guest list just so it doesn't impact you. We've got a question here from Adria or Umbrista, and the question is around basic members. So if a basic member is attending one of your activities, do you assume they're using one of their 2 free trials? Christoph, in this situation, is a basic member using one of their trials?
Yes. If a basic member can only sign up if it's one of the free trials. Otherwise, basic members are not able to sign up for an activity.
Mm-hmm.
So you as a consul do not have to worry about anyone who's signed up. They're either albatrosses or using their free trial, so you don't have to worry at all.
Another point I want to add here is what happens if a basic member who's not using his free trials turns up at an activity. This sometimes happens because basic members have albatross friends who tell them where the venue is and they just turn up. I always say in Madrid, you don't want trouble at the door. So accept the basic members for your activity on site, but please tell them to sign up to upgrade for albatross membership, sign up officially next time for the next event, and that's all you can do. So try to, be friendly, no trouble at the door. That's all I wanted to say.
Great. Makes for an easy night. Thanks, Christoph. We do have a good question here from John again, who runs the singles group in Stuttgart. Christine, I mean, we're running out of time, but maybe in 20 seconds, what are some of the things that John could do, or what are some of the things that you've done that John could think about?
Well, I'm pretty easy actually. I'm not so. What are some of the good singles activities? Well, I think the drinking, and you go to a nice bar, a jazz bar, that would be nice, and have a drink. Not too noisy, not to a disco. It's too noisy, you won't be able to talk to each other. Yeah. So I think a nice jazz bar, a small group of 20, 30, that's good, so that you can have a nice conversation. And try to get an equal number of men and women, of course. That would be great. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Thanks, Christine. And guys, we're actually just coming to the end of our 30 minutes. Now, what I want to assure you is that any questions that have been asked in the Q&A app here, our friendly groups team, your personal groups manager will get back to you within the next 1 or 2 days with answers to your questions. We've got some great stuff in there around the website. We've got some questions in there that are specific to the community. So we're going to make sure that that person gets back to you. Christine, Christoph, Evelyn, Susan, and Morgan, I want to get, what's your one piece of advice? If you had to leave these new consuls with your top tip, what would it be? And Christine, I'm going to start with you.
I would say print out the guest list and bring it with you. And when you go to the venue, be the first to be there. Then you can welcome them. That's my best one.
Good one. And Christoph?
Well, my tip would be only organize activities you yourself will have fun with.
Good one.
Have fun.
All right, and then over to the groups team.
I would just say, everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's there because they are interested in meeting new people and having a good time together. So that should really be your focus, is to make sure that you're enjoying yourself and that everybody is there to have a good time. So no stress.
Yeah, for me, I really encourage my consuls to just keep their first activity simple. I mean, this activity is about familiarizing yourself with the role, and the more activities that you create and post, the more you'll get the hang of it. So no one expects it to be perfect, and I try to have everyone remember that.
Exactly. That's a really good tip. I could give back like that. Maybe what's important also is to allow yourself some time before the activity, maybe plan ahead so you can react to members' questions, so you can react to something that comes along the way, just that would always help you to not be stressed out before, and then at the activity itself, just really be able to enjoy yourself.
Good. Hey, thanks, guys. And listen, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us, to everyone who's watching. Finally, I just want to touch on some of the sources of support that are out there. Unlike other communities, you do have this fantastic group of activity groups managers who can be reached on activity-groups@internations.org. From me, I really want to stress to you, and from them also, please don't hesitate to get in touch with them on that email address. If you need advice for what an activity could be like, if you're facing any challenges, or maybe things aren't going so well, don't hesitate to get on that email address. These guys are fantastic. They'll get back to you straight away. There's also an activity groups manual that you have, and that contains everything under the sun that you would need to I guess, to operate in the role of a consul. Finally, if you would like some group-specific advice, maybe you run a singles group, or maybe you run a InterNations group and want to see how other communities are doing it, either get onto activity-groups@internations.org and we can put you in touch with another consul running a similar group. But we really encourage you to check out the calendar, change communities, have a look around, see what other activities are out there, and really get inspired. And finally, from us, we really encourage you, Christoph, Christine, and the activity groups team, add us on InterNations, and if there's anything we can do to support you, please just don't hesitate to get in touch. As I said, these questions will be in touch within the next 24 hours. So thanks again for joining us. Best of luck with your first activity. And we're going to have a reconnect in a couple of months where we can get back together and we can, share some of our thoughts on what's worked well. All the best.